Well, there we go. Back at it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe we're doing it today despite your brother having cancer.
No, don't. That was I meant COVID.
Oh, what well, you said the big C, so
No, let's not. Let's not do this live.
ugh. I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god, that's horrible."
Yeah, I know. He's just recovering at home.
That's good. Well, not good that he got it, but glad he's recovering. You did know that that's what people used to say. No one used to say cancer. They used to call it the big C.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until
Okay.
after you reacted. So,
Yeah. How's your week been otherwise?
pretty good. Just bought a new porch set. Pretty nice.
Wow. Fancy schmancy.
Yeah, well, my neighbor was selling it pretty cheap, so
Even better.
figured, what the hey?
You still rent, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not all of us can have big five-story houses like you, Sam, from all that podcast money you've been embezzling.
As I look at my stacked washer dryer unit that needs to be emptied 5 feet from where I'm sitting.
Of course, I kid. I know you live in a 100 square foot apartment. Um, no, what's the old joke? That's above a bowling alley and also below another bowling alley.
Yeah. Above a bowling alley and below a river dance club.
So popular nowadays.
Yeah. No, I'm very thankful I don't have anyone living above or below me. That is, I can never go back. I don't have to worry as much about being loud during the night.
That's when you have your good screaming sessions.
Yeah. There's just nothing like screaming in your own house at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday night. It really, really gets it all out. I've actually got I've been cooking. Today's been a bit of a weird one.
Like literally cooking or cooking up something.
No, literally cooking.
Okay, good.
Making ham bean soup.
Ham bean soup.
Yeah,
That does sound pretty good, actually.
I had 2 leftover ham bones, so I simmered those away for about an hour, and then pulled them and then dumped the beans because I had to do the fast method because I forgot to cool the beans over or to soak the beans overnight. So I did the quick method where you dump them in water, you boil it for 2 minutes, and then you cover and let it set for an hour.
That does sound pretty good, actually.
So now that's got to simmer away to make sure I got the beans all cooked up so I don't give myself a tummy ache again. And I also I cut up a bunch of...
You've been eating bad beans or something?
No. Last time I did this, I don't think I cooked them long enough, so my stomach wasn't happy trying to digest the complex chains. It didn't food poison me, but it was unhappy tummy. But I cut up a bunch of carrots and celery to go in it too. There is no room, so I might just might stir fry those up and mix them in later or something like that.
Eat them with some peanut butter.
Carrots and peanut butter?
No, celery and peanut butter.
Well, yeah, but I already chopped it all up.
Well, then just mix it in with the peanut butter and then eat it all with a spoon.
You might be onto something there.
Becomes like a peanut butter chutney.
Yeah, that actually sounds not half bad. Like that peanut drink I had the other day.
Yeah, it's peanut juice.
Peanut punch is what it was called, I believe.
Was that good?
It was actually really good. I mean, it was 25 grams of sugar in that tiny ass box, so of course it was going to taste good, but it kind of tasted like a melted milkshake.
Oh, that does sound pretty good.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a little expensive. It was like $1.30 Canadian. So probably Well,
It's like $1. I mean, that's pretty.
almost $1. I think the exchange rate was a little low when I was there.
Buying anything for less than $1 is hate to break it to you, Sam, but that's a good deal.
For a single juice box, that doesn't feel like a good deal to me.
We're not buying gumballs for 5 cents anymore, Sam.
What?
Not today's market.
Is that... When did they go up?
What do you mean when they go? They're like 25 cents now.
25 cents? No, yeah, I don't remember a time when they weren't 25 cents. They're probably not even 25 cents anymore.
They're actually now $3.75.
Jesus, for a single gumball. I mean, you joke, but I was doing some checking on some stuff for work for just like supplies we get and stuff like that. Real basic stuff. And averaging it all out, it was over 30% increase in 2 years of cost of just basic stuff we need.
I
Jesus
believe
Christ.
it. Supply chains be whack.
It's not supply chains anymore, buddy.
They were whack.
They were for a very short amount of time. What a world.
What a world. Well, good thing we're making a hand over fist with this podcast.
It'd be interesting to sit down and figure out the amount of energy we've used to do the podcast and figure out the losses.
Well, what losses? Would we be making money now if we weren't having the podcast?
But we wouldn't be losing money doing the podcast. You see what I'm saying?
No, are we losing money?
I mean, I've got the power on.
We have the power on anyways.
This is an hour of time that I could be using to do something else, you know?
Okay, like what? What ultra productive thing are you missing out on right now?
I could be playing the 5-year anniversary of Deep Rock.
And making bank off of that.
Yeah.
I do forget that your alternative Deep Rock themed Twitch channel does bring in 10,000 viewers a night.
Yeah. No, you're $10,000 a night is what it was.
Oh, viewers. Okay, yes, of course.
Average is much higher, yeah. God, that would suck. I mean, I realize we do a podcast, but can you imagine being famous? You couldn't go anywhere.
That's why we keep it low key at this podcast.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't want to get too big.
No, I'm kind of glad that we're not crazy. You know,
I prefer it.
Yeah,
to not be crazy.
Honestly, we could not even release it. We could just sit down and have these chats, and I'd still probably be just as happy. It's just nice to listen to an album and then talk to you about it.
Sam, I don't know how to tell you this, but actually, your internet hasn't worked for the last 3 years.
Huh? What? How are
I'm
you
actually
talking to me then?
I'm on the other side of the wall with a can tied to a string.
Oh, no wonder you're so muffled all the time.
So, I'm just surprised you haven't figured it out before.
Yeah, I wondered why I heard a bunch of movement coming from the other side of the wall, and then... Yeah, that actually explains a lot.
Hey, but you saved a load on internet.
But I've still been paying for it. I didn't know it didn't work.
Oh, I mean, I've been taking the money, but...
Oh, wow.
Those cans aren't going to buy themselves. I got to buy a new one every time I use it.
What are you doing to that poor can?
I have too much spit.
God. All right, on that note, let's get to the actual review. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the Audio Shop Podcast. My mic is working on this scene this week. If you're wondering why last week's isn't uploaded, it's because... in my franticness to get everything set up, I accidentally hid my microphone, which apparently mutes it. And I didn't realize until like 15 minutes later. So it's just Cooper talking to himself for 15 minutes.
So last week was an old Cooper exclusive.
Yeah. So it's there. I have it. It's uploaded, but I'm not going to make it public because nobody listens to these anyway. So why would you listen to one where it's just Cooper talking to himself like an insane person?
No, it could be one of those, like, you can pretend that you're having a conversation with me and trying to answer and seeing if you can guess my answers.
That'd be interesting.
It's like a choose your own adventure, but it just goes in one direction. So I guess it's a regular book.
It's not choose your own if they don't get a choice. But last week we did, what was it? It was Tales of an Exhibition. Is that what it was called?
It was
Scenes at an Exhibition.
No, it's something.
I remember it was by Modest Mouse.
Of pictures at an exhibition.
Pictures at an exhibition by Modest Mouse. That's what it was.
By Modest Modowski.
Yeah, that's what I said. But this week we are doing Snail's House, who we've talked about many times before, but never actually reviewed one of their albums. I don't know how to say that, Cooper. I'll be honest with you. Is it French?
I'm assuming it's latte, and as like say latte.
Okay.
Um,
Latte.
I'm assuming it's latte. I think it's French, because Japanese doesn't have those accents.
The Grave. Oh
Maybe
wait, no,
there's a
that's
way.
not Grave. That's the other one. I don't remember what the other one's called. Is it Grave? For some reason, I remember Grave as you're descending into a grave, so I think it goes the other way. So I'm not sure what that one's called. It has been a long time since I've taken any French, though.
I've never taken any French, so your guess is probably better than mine.
I mean, I retained none of it, and I did it for like 6 years. Woohoo, American education system.
I think the L might be silent actually. Now that I'm looking it up, Ete, maybe.
Damn French.
But
leave the vowels alone.
I mean, they're losing the consonants alone though. But we'll get into a little bit of the background here.
Yeah.
So the artist we're reviewing, like Sam said, is Snail's House. Real name Gitaro Uji. Born 1976 or 1977.
Yeah, we just missed their birthday.
Sorry, 1997.
Did you say 77?
I said 77. 1997.
Yeah, we just missed their birthday. It was at the end of February.
Yeah, in February. So we could say this is like a belated birthday.
Yeah.
Who's professionally known as Snail's House, or formerly Ujiko.
Is that when he is that when he released that latest album on his birthday? I'm gonna look. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Yeah, it might have been. But he's a Japanese electronic musician, currently living in Saitama, Japan. And we're going to be reviewing his 2018 release, Latte or Ete. Not quite sure on the pronunciation there. Clearly, we're very cultured here.
20 days early is when the album released.
Well, maybe a little early birthday gift to himself.
Yeah.
But he's been releasing music on SoundCloud as early as 2012. Eventually creating his own record label, and working with various musicians there. And he's kind of made his music career around this Snail's House outfit, which is it goes by Kawaii Music. Kind of back in 2014 is when he really picked up that moniker. And then 2017, his song Pixel Galaxy kind of, went viral on YouTube, helped him pick up some views and plays. That music video has like 100 million views. So,
Wow. But
that's quite an uptick.
I should say real quick before you get too far past it, he started doing music in 2012 when he would have been
about 15.
15, and then he created his record label at 16. So pretty active, pretty young. He picked up the piano when he was 17.
Yeah, and obviously piano features rather heavily on this album. So yeah, very young musician, kind of going through. Only been about 21 when this album released. So he's been actually rather prolific. I forget exactly how many albums he had released prior to this one.
A lot.
But it's probably at least a dozen.
Some of those are singles, and a couple are EPs, but
yeah. But he's been pretty active and releasing, very consistently.
Yeah, just since 2020. In 2020 alone, he released three albums, and then in 21, 2 EPs, and then in 22, 1 EP and 1 album. And then this year so far already 1 album. So no King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, but pretty active.
Also only one guy. So
yes.
I gotta give him points for that. So yeah, very active musician. Obviously, been on the scene for 10 years, despite his young age. He's younger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's not hard to do.
what?
I hate to break it to you. You're no spring
Where
chicken
am I?
anymore.
Hey, I'll say I'm 57 years young, and I've never felt better.
Wow. You look good for your age.
Thank you. Um, but yeah, so he very active musician. So I figure might as well just jump into it um, with the album.
Yeah, we can get into it. Track number 1, On the Rainy Day, or the intro song.
Yeah, I think that's pronounced Arushi no Jitsuni, maybe. I'm not very good with kanji. But yes,
Aren't you
on the
learning
rainy day.
Japanese?
Yes, but kanji is very difficult.
Okay.
I mean, even that little one that looks like two boxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word for day. It can be pronounced like ka or nichi or jitsu, I think is one as well. Yeah, kanji is difficult. But yeah, on the rainy day is the sweet little intro song.
Yeah, nice simple piano start before bringing in some bassy synth and a drum pad. Just it's short little thing.
Yeah, it just gives you a little taste of what the album's going to be like. Of course, very piano centric, which is basically this whole album. I mean, obviously, it delves pretty deep into the electronics. But I mean, he said he learned piano when he was like, what, 17? He'd be 21.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty impressive, rise up in terms of piano performance on this.
Oh, yeah.
Especially once you become like late teenager into adulthood, picking up an instrument's a lot harder than when you're a kid. Yeah. So
your brain isn't as spongy.
Exactly. Same way with like learning languages.
Mm-hmm.
Brain just starts to get brittle. And of course, then by your late 50s, I'm starting to find things start slipping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to text you 3 times before you showed up this evening.
Yeah, I almost forgot my cans at home. Then I just been shouting through the wall.
I might have picked up on it then.
No, but we'll move on to track number 2 then. Yes. Vivid Green.
This one is a more standard piano with random sounds serving as percussion. We get some breaking glass pitched up by the sounds of it, train crossing noises, and knocking, which all make an appearance.
I do like the train crossing noises, not going to lie.
Yeah, that one's nice. Not the biggest fan of the breaking glass.
I don't know. I've a lot of the that is an odd, when you think about it, a pretty transient, like sharp noise in an album that's largely going for I'll say vibe feel, making the joke, beats to study to kind of vibe. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these songs are in one of those, chill beats to chill and study to kind of thing. Certainly, that's basically his aura or a genre.
Certainly made to live in the background, that's for sure. We do get that very traditional soft pop synth. You know what I'm talking about? That you hear in basically all of the current soft pop electronica.
Oh yeah, like it's just it's not like it's not a loud synth or like something that's meant to poke at. It's supposed to be a very subdued, almost like a blanketed sound.
Mm-hmm. It's a very calming song. Doesn't stick around too long. Knows what it is. Doesn't overstay its welcome. The end is a little bit awkward, kind of different from the rest of the song, but overall, pretty good.
I think gives you a good taste of what this album's going to be about.
Yeah.
Which on to the next track then, track number 3, Pluie.
Well, there's no accent marker, so I'm going to say it's probably Pluie.
But that just sounds silly. It's like a cartoon sound effect.
Again, more of that stereotypical pop synth in this one. That sounds vaguely like a ringtone, like an early 2000s ringtone.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, it does have a very ringtone-esque feel to it. I mean, obviously, still goes with the lo-fi beats mood,
Hmm.
and keeping that kind of very light and fluffy electronic music. Um, but it does get a little bit noisier near the back end, where you get like almost some like I don't know, some filtered electric guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, I got distracted. There's that descending note line I swear I recognize from something, but I couldn't place it. The main line that's just constantly descending. But I couldn't tell you where I heard it before.
Yeah, it's kind of almost intentionally loop esque.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much a have in the background song, not I'm gonna sit down and listen to Pluie.
Yeah, this is not a this is not exercise. Get the blood pumping
No.
music.
No, and
Um,
I have some addressing it later, but just the act of us sitting down and picking it apart kind of breaks
little
most of this down.
antithetical to
Yeah.
maybe the purpose of this. This is very much background music has a negative connotation, but I think that's literally its design, right?
Yes.
Um,
Not like
is
some of the more so. I mean, I'm gonna no. I'll hold on to that till later.
keep that in your back
I'll
pocket.
keep that. That's a end of the album discussion. Jumping to the next track, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 4, Sunflower, which starts with this very light, I want to say Glockenspiel esque, or whatever that little toy box is, where it's like the little strips of metal that you flick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what that thing's called.
Oh, are you talking about a thumb harp?
But yeah, thumb harp.
It is featured in some later. Oh yeah, yeah. This is the thumb harp song, acting as the backbone. It's a bit mixed, a bit loud, and it's it. My issue with it is it's a single bar, and it tries to carry half the song, which doesn't really work. Maybe it's just because we're sitting and analyzing it. Maybe it's because it's a single bar and it's holding up 2 minutes of a 4-minute song. It just
I like the thumb harp, and it does some of the heavy lifting, but also drops out for those violins that come in,
yeah.
which I think are done very tastefully, melding with the piano and the drums and the electronic elements of the song.
Yeah, yeah, very decent canned strings for being canned. Again, yeah.
I know a thing or two about cans, and I think they sound fine here.
Yeah, they.
I mean, obviously not a live performance of violin.
No.
I highly doubt. But obviously, this guy's working with mostly electronic music, so I think it fits well within the vibe of the song.
Yeah, not too egregious at all. He does a pretty good job of hiding the fact that they're canned. And we just can't get away from the 1-2 clap. But at least only one beat of this is the clap. He uses that a lot, where it's a 1-2 clap, but he moves where the clap is.
I don't think it's that egregious, honestly. And like I said, I like it. It comes in for a little bit, drops out. Each of the elements, if they stay for the entire song, would maybe be annoying. But yeah. I like there's a good balancing and build up to a pretty cinematic ending, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that slow breakdown at the end is pretty nice. It's just kind of like winding down.
It feels like I should be having some sort of like emotional end of movie monologue.
Yeah.
About the nature of love or something over it.
Jumping to track 5 if you're ready.
Yes. Track number 5, Secret Base. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because I cannot read that kanji.
For me, this one sticks around a bit too long. This is kind of where I started to get to the point of like, man, I like listening to the album, it's fine, but sitting and analyzing it's kind of like looking at the man behind the curtain. They're pleasant enough to have in the background while doing other things, but sitting here and analyzing it is making me actively hate the song.
I'd say it makes me hate the song, but it definitely goes against kind of what it's trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Where it's intentionally trying to be something that recedes into the back of your attention. So putting it to the front kind of, operates opposite to what it's trying to do.
Trying to force myself to focus on it was just like there was nothing exciting. There's nothing to latch onto, right? It's fine music. But like I said, you don't sit down and like, I'm going to stare at a wall and listen to this. It's you put it on while you're doing something, while you're studying, maybe.
Obviously, yeah, the whole album goes for kind of a very light and ethereal feel, that makes it kind of hard to grab onto anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, as its own, it still has some interesting effects. I mean, this one, obviously the album as a whole, but this one in particular kind of goes for that toy box, kind of sound effect feel.
Yeah.
Like an intentionally kind of nostalgic outlook to it.
Yeah. Jumping to track 6, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 6. Utsura, or Somnolent. I believe is that's what it had as the English word. I'm actually not sure what that word means.
I don't know either.
It means sleepy or drowsy.
Yeah, this one would not put me to sleep. There is a very sharp noise that keeps randomly popping up, and it drove me insane. It sounds like someone dropping a penny into a milkshake. And
That's a very specific description.
It's mixed super high. It's so sharp compared to everything else, and it just keeps popping up. Like, the rest of the song is actually really good. For most part, up to, if it weren't for that penny into the milkshake noise, this would be my favorite song up to this point, because there's progression, there's more active instruments, it's a bit deeper, got a little bit more going on. But that noise is horrible. Even while I was like doing other things and listening to this song, every single time it popped up, it was like a needle. It serves no purpose. I don't know why it's there. I hate it.
Honestly, I'm not even sure which noise you're talking about, because I don't remember hearing anything too piercing in this song.
It's not. Piercing's not the right thing. It's just sharp. It comes out above everything else whenever it pops up. And I don't know if it's a mixing issue or what, but it doesn't seem like it has any purpose.
Maybe it's to keep you on your toes.
I mean, this would not make me fall asleep. I would dread listening to the song to fall asleep.
I mean, obviously, everything else, it has like these Vocaloid vocals, which are obviously, if you don't know, are like, I guess, computer-generated vocals, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Which, obviously, nowadays, that's becoming more and more prevalent.
Didn't Hatsune Miku do promotions for Domino's or some shit like that?
Well, Hatsune Miku is kind of like the most...
most famous
prevalent
Vocaloid.
The most famous Vocaloid.
She's even been in some animes, I believe.
And honestly, Vocaloids were kind of ahead of their times, because she came out in like 2007.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, really like AI generated vocals didn't really like become a thing or in popular culture in America at least, until like a year back maybe. We started seeing them, really start to be used proper.
Yeah, and I mean, VTubers really took off within the last 5 years.
Yeah, so kind of ahead of their time. And of course, obviously, the vocals don't sound realistic.
No.
But that kind of adds to the intentionally electronic and wispy vibe of the song.
Yeah, nothing like those AI generated videos nowadays with Joe Rogan talking about going to the beach that makes you old.
Yeah, or Joe Biden and Donald Trump playing Roblox or something.
Yeah. That's scary. They're getting scary, honestly.
I've listened to some where I'm like, man, that sounds close.
Yeah, it's...
Like, I can tell it's fake, but like it's getting more where I'm like, wow, this is starting to sound pretty natural.
Yeah. Like,
if I showed this to my grandma, she'd probably believe it was the real thing.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing for some of the pictures. Like, you can look at some... I'm trying to stay clued into that kind of stuff, so I can look at a picture and say, okay, that's out of touch. That would be... Here's where an AI generating an image will fuck up. Because I remember seeing one probably 3 years ago. It was like just when AI generated imagery was starting to take off. And it's an image, and it looks like it's a bedroom. And whenever your brain isn't focused on an item, like when it's like in the periphery of your focal point, you think you know what it is, but the instant you look at what it is, you can't tell. It's just a jumble of nothingness. And now it can make people. So It's interesting. Again, interesting times. Anyway, I hate this song because of the milkshake penny.
I didn't even notice that much. I think this song's fine.
The digitized vocals at the end are fun though. But yeah, milkshake penny, horrible.
Here, then we'll go to the next track then, Sam. Track number 7, Platonic.
Yeah, this is the middle of this album is where I started going a bit crazy. Because there's so many short loops, like 1 bar loops. And the main theme of this one is a bar that loops twice a second, and it started getting me a bit crazy. But it came back from that. There's some nice heavy bass, the melodic digital synth that comes in around the halfway point. Overall, really good song. It was just a little bit of that crazy carried over from the previous one with the milkshake penny.
One's a little heavier, got some chunkier elements in it with the it starts with the acoustic guitar, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of, like you said, there's kind of lower bassier electronic notes, which is nice since this album's largely not had anything bassy or anything approaching bassy in it.
Yes. And I think part of why I gravitated so much towards this one is when I say I listen to Snail's House, I listen to the current stuff. I've never really dug back into their discography, and the current stuff is so much different than this. It is much more electronic, a lot heavier, and I thought we were going that route. I didn't realize we were going this route with it. I didn't, because like I said, I just never bothered going back through his old stuff.
Well, sometimes you gotta look at the old to appreciate the new.
Yeah. Jumping to track 8, if you're ready.
Track 8, Bubbles and Your Dreams. Which kind of takes us back to the cinematic wispiness of the rest of the album.
Yeah, but something with this one, there was like a tonal shift. It's like this one is mixed less sharp, you know what I'm saying? Previous songs sounded like everything was happening in your ear canal, and this one sounds like, the instrument's giving you personal space. You picking up what I'm putting down there?
Maybe. Maybe it's a little softer in that regard. Honestly, I didn't have much to say about this song. This one kind of blended for me.
Yeah, it is. This one is also very repetitive. But I liked the mixing on if the mixing on this one had been applied to the rest, I think I would have been a little bit less on edge because I didn't realize it till we got to this one. But damn, the rest of those, everything is so sharp. Like it feels too close. I need it a little bit pulled back. It's like the mouth sounds thing that I talk about when people feel like their mouth is in your ear when they're singing. They're too close to the microphone. Back up a little bit. Back up. Personal space. So I like the mixing. The song, it's whatever.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything too different about the mixing, but definitely the song seems like very standard for me compared to the other ones, I guess.
Yeah, very, very repetitive, even more so than the others. Jump into track 9, if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 9, Before the Last Summer Ends.
This one's got grand mixing of piano and strings. Again, very good job at hiding the bad elements of the canned strings. And some nice synthy flute to spice things up.
I kind of like I like the quieter piano parts on this one. A lot of times where it drops down, just focusing on the piano. I think it adds to a nice ebb and flow of this song.
The piano is beautiful, but it doesn't really carry the song, in my opinion. This is probably just because I'm sitting and analyzing it, but man, it gets a little boring. I'll be honest, because you still got the short loops. There's not a whole lot of melodic growth. It's just when the piano's left to its own devices for 20 seconds, it's like, okay, yeah, we've heard this. It's a 4-minute song. You keep playing the same thing. So it's
I think you're being a little mean to this one.
I am, yes, because in a good mood. The milkshake penny made me upset, so I got a little bit.
It was a 3.5 minute song.
Yeah, and it made me upset. But like it's fine in the background. It's beautiful in the background. It's just, again, sitting and analyzing it, just kind of you start to see the cracks in it.
I think this one has good production.
Yeah,
I think this one is better than you're giving it credit for.
Oh, the mixing on this, again, great.
I'll even compare it to the other songs. I think it's a little more active,
yes.
Right? Like I said, it ebbs and flows. The violin, the flutes, the piano. There's like a give and take in terms of the melodies going on there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The piano thing's a minor complaint compared to previous songs.
No, it's not like a 30-second loop that lasts for 4 minutes.
No. And that synth flute is used. Oh God, hold on. We've got to. How do I ban people? I don't remember how to do it. Ban. Sorry, there was a bot in the chat.
Listener.
It wasn't a listener. It was a bot.
Maybe that's one of the Vocaloids wanting to hear their performance.
Oh shit, that was Hatsune Miku. God damn it. But yeah, no, this one's good. I really enjoy it. And the flute is actually the same flute that he ends up using much later in, I think it's Ma Chocolat, which is the song I really like of his. It was used in Anonymous's Burbs to Friends video. Which is how that's how I found Snail's House, was through his work, because he uses a lot of the songs and then does Gary's Mod Machinima over top of them.
I do like Gary's Mod.
But yeah, the synth flute is very obviously canned, but it still sounds nice. It's got enough of that digital in there to hide the. I'm not just trying to mimic a flute. It's kind of got its own thing going on.
Like, not everyone can afford a live orchestra for their
songs.
And
nor should you. Like I said, he in this one especially, very good job at hiding the bad elements of canned strings. They're actually used very tastefully. It's when, I don't know, say you're a group of 5 guys who make a lot of money and have done music for years, and on one song you use a real saxophone, but then on another song you use a canned saxophone. Not naming any names or anything, Traveling Wilburys, but...
Traveling Wilburys. Rings a bell. Particularly like their second volume.
Jumping to the final track then.
Yes,
if you're ready.
The 10th and final track, See You Tomorrow, outro.
Yes.
Which I would say is definitely an outro.
It is, yes. It sounded more creepy to me than cute.
It's like wind chimes, like a very soft toy box noise.
See, I could hear that, but the main thing I heard was you're walking through a pitch black house at night, and you open the door to the room with the music box, and as the song finishes playing, it slams shut. That's what I saw in my head.
Why? You haven't read too many Goosebump novels.
I guess. I don't know why. I did this midday. It wasn't dark or anything.
Yours beware. You're in for a scare. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's got a certain like empty vibe to it.
It's like children laughing. It can be taken one of two ways. Middle of the day? Yeah, sure, fine. Middle of the night? Fuck that.
Echoes through the halls.
That'd be scarier, honestly, a talking dog.
All right, well, that's the album.
That's the album.
So, Sam, what's your favorite track?
Favorite track? Probably Platonique. We're past the point. We get to the point where things are mixed a little bit better, and I don't know. It's just it's more in line with the kind of Snail's House songs that I like. The heavier electronic, a lot more going on, that kind of stuff. This is kind of a little sneak peek into what would be some of the more modern stuff that he does. And I think the fact that I like it the most indicates to me that I'm glad he does not make music in this sort of way anymore. I mean, he still does kind of, but this was 2018, right? He's got, God, what year is it now?
2020. It's 2038.
23. Oh God. But he's got a lot more experience. Not saying he didn't when he was there, but he's older now. It's I think listening to this, and then I went back and listened to more modern stuff. So I'm like, crap, have I just never actually liked Snail's House? Like, no, I like the modern stuff. I just wasn't a big fan of this. So what about you, Cooper? What was your favorite?
I liked Sunflower. I thought it was a cute little song. I liked the way the song progressed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I give a shout out to Before the Last Summer Ends. But also, I think you've got a point as well. Of there's obviously a lot of talent in this art, but also a lot of sameness. Not always the best use of resources. Obviously, I think he succeeds at creating his lo-fi beats, but there's definitely some lacking in terms of any single song kind of standing out from each other for the most part.
It's a fantastic music to have on the background. It will help you focus. It's very pretty. It's very soft. And because nothing sticks out too badly except for the milkshake penny, but apparently I'm the only one that can hear that, you won't get distracted, right? It's like listening to video game music. It's there. It's made to not distract you. Even though I do sit down and stare at a wall and listen to New Donk City from Odyssey from time to time. Because that's just that's a banging song. I particularly like the 2-hour version where it just never ends. It just works. Anyway, what about your least favorite song, Cooper? What would that be?
I guess Bubbles in Your Dreams. That one I just had the least to say about.
It's mixed really well.
It's mixed well, and I think this album, obviously has some competence behind it. Again, I don't want to feel like I'm poo-pooing on something that I think basically gets its job done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very it can be kind of vanilla, in terms of nothing super stands out from each other.
Yeah,
all being over sweet and nice, but nothing like doesn't have any crunch. You're not gonna hit like a bit of Oreo in there.
Right.
What about you, Sam?
I think. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to type and do stuff at the same time. I'll give you one guess, Cooper. It's the one with the fucking milkshake penny. Somnolent. Fuck, I can't speak. The one you could actually pronounce. Track number 6. Man, I was raging by the end of that song. It just kept coming back, and it served no purpose whatsoever, as far as I could tell. I was going into other tabs, making sure I had nothing open. I'm like, shit, did I accidentally open some random tab that's making noise? Nope, it's just in the song. And it just, I could focus on nothing else. That's the only part that was like, it was very sharp and really stuck out to me. Comparatively to everything else. I mean, how sharp can a penny getting dropped into a milkshake sound? But go back and listen to that song. You'll know when you hear it. It just occasionally happens, and it drove me insane. Otherwise, very good song, but that one I couldn't focus on anything else. But we got to rate the album now.
Yes. And what rating system do we use, Sam?
Well, I'll tell you, Cooper, here at Audio Shop Podcast. Originally, we were going to make a Cars the movie themed podcast. And then we got several cease and desist letters from
Owen Wilson,
Disney, and Owen Wilson, and then we kind of tried to rebrand it just a little bit, and we tried to do Planes. They still weren't a fan of that, and nobody listened to it anyway because who the heck watches Planes? So then we decided to make a music podcast, but I didn't want to make all new assets, so we stayed with the car stuff. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I was very lazy. So anyway, we've got Tip Top, cream of the crop, showroom, best of the best. You got to listen to this. You got to get your friends to listen to it. It's a fantastic album. Should be in the Hall of Fame. And then all the way down at the bottom, we got Scrapyard, bottom of the barrel. Ooh, yuck. I probably lost 10 years from my life for listening to this. I actively have a migraine now. You wouldn't think that stuff falls in that category, but boy, there's a couple. And then we've got the rest of them, like New Fixer Upper, Used Rental, high, low, in between, depending on our mood. and it can change with the day. So, Cooper, what would you rate this album?
I think this album gets a very, very firm fixer-upper. This is going right in the middle. Um, does a lot of things that are enjoyable, pleasant. I think pleasant's a very good word to describe this album.
Mm.
Um, where but also I don't really leave with a lot. Um, which I mean, I guess is part of the purpose of this kind of lo-fi, relaxing music, right? Is that it's not something so transient that or something that sticks out too much, which has its upsides but also its downsides. So I
Yeah.
think it's very competently produced. Guy obviously knows what he's doing, and I do like some of his later stuff more. So I can't say like I actively ever, you know, hated anything on this album or disliked it, but also nothing that was too enjoyable or something I could recommend to others. So firmly, smack dab in the middle here. What about you, Sam?
Which is interesting because we decided we should do some Snail's House, and then I said you should pick the album, and then you picked this one. So
I picked up. He has like 80 albums. I had to pick one, so I just picked a random one.
Oh, I thought you picked one that you liked.
Oh no! Oh, he told me to pick one.
Okay.
You should tell me if you had one in mind.
I do. Well, I picked the last couple, so I told you to pick this one. I'm giving it a high used rental. Like I said, you can see the talent, but there's just some things in there that are not well done. Mixing in some spots is pretty rough. He decided to include a penny being dropped in a milkshake for some reason, and crank up the mixing. It's in the front every single time it happens. It's fine to have in the background, but you're not going to take anything away. So did you really actually listen to it? But it's nearly at that fixer upper level, right? There's just a couple of tweaks and it's there for me. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Well, that's the album. Now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to this week. Has it been a week? Did we do one last week? We did, didn't we? I don't remember.
We did.
Okay. Time
you could be correct.
Compressed for me a bit this week. So what? I'm going first this time because I actually wrote down things I listened to.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I listened to Cracker Island, of course, by the Gorillaz.
Same here.
Which is going to be our anniversary podcast come April, and hopefully our 100th. We'll have to sit down here afterwards real quick and
do a quick napkin math. Yeah,
napkin math. If it's not the 100th, that's fine. We'll do something special for the 100th, but hopefully the anniversary and the 100th line up, which will be very cool. And then I also listened to the new Snail House album, Lumi, which I thought was all right. It was pretty good. Wasn't my favorite, not my least favorite. I also finished listening to Paper Mache Dream Balloon. Not finished, wait. I listened to it again for like the 17th time. By King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard.
Great album.
Yeah, it's probably my top 2 for them now. It shifts between. Sometimes it's number 1. I couldn't get Trapdoor out of my head for like 3 days.
Trapdoor.
And then Physical Graffiti by the Zepp. So kind of sprinkling it around this week.
Okay, that's good.
Was there anything else I listened to? I don't think there was. We'll get into it, but man, I was kind of disappointed by the Cracker Island album. I was wanting more Cracker Island and less New Gold,
You're not a Tame Impala fan?
It just, the whole thing was a little bit too soft. They come out of the gate with Cracker Island, and I was hoping it was going to be a bit harder like that one.
Yeah, it definitely skewed a little more to the now.
Yeah, which I was not wanting. I was like, you've done that. We haven't had a hard one for some time, because even Song Machine was pretty soft. It's like, let's get back to that. We don't have to go all the way back to the punk, but let's get a little bit harder rock in there. Oh well, I'll just keep listening to Cracker Island on loop, the song, not the album. What about you, Coop? What'd you listen to this week?
Of course, I also listened to the new Gorillaz as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also listened to a album by, I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, Hakushi Hasegawa. Listened to an album of hers called Bones, A Dreams Attacked, which I quite liked on a family recommendation there. Also listened to the album Notes with Attachments by Pino Palladino and Blake Mills, which is kind of like this, kind of had this nice, I guess, like, soothing, but also kind of, some energy to it, kind of, I don't know, music sessions vibes to it.
Mm-hmm.
Very much just musicians kind of, making some really nice, relaxing music there that I quite enjoyed. And Callie Uchis also released a new album, Red Moon and Venus, which I'm quite a fan of hers. She makes very good bedroom music.
Mm-hmm. Pardon?
And she's collaborated with she's collaborated with Gorillaz before, and also Tyler the Creator, Tame Impala, Thundercat. And I quite like her. I quite like her sound. Very, very. It's got the soothing, kind of sensual vibe to it,
Mm-hmm.
that I quite enjoy.
I forgot I listened to quite a bit of Wings and Paul McCartney this week.
You have been liking that Wings. I'm guessing something with Aluminum Man or something.
No, I'm off of Magneto and Titanium Man. This week I'm on oh crap, what is it? It is Uncle Albert and Admiral. Shit, what is it? I can't remember the other name. Admiral Halsey, and man, is it it's a toe tapper. It's just a Paul McCartney song.
Toe tapper,
but it sounds very Beatles. It's got some very Beatles aspects to it, but it's a fun song, and it gets in your head. I'm probably going to listen to it now that I've brought it up again.
Just based on the name, I'm assuming it's one of Paul's granny songs.
Not really. I mean, kind of Uncle Albert, maybe a little bit, but Admiral Halsey has got a bit more going on. It's got some really fun trumpet in it.
Okay, I do like some Beatles trumpet.
Yeah, it's not quite a granny song. It's like halfway there. It's no When I'm 65. When I'm
64.
64. Sorry, inflation.
Now, I do like some Paul McCartney.
No. He's my favorite apostle. John, Paul, George, Ringo.
The Book of Ringo.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the podcast. If you've liked what you've heard for some godforsaken reason, you can go to the YouTube. If you're on the Twitch, you scroll down. There's the picture of Jeff Lynne. He's wearing aviators, fake afro. Click that, take it to YouTube, where all most of the past episodes are. I can't keep specifying which ones are missing now that there's two of them. You listen there, and if you're on YouTube, you come on over to the Twitch. It's in the description. Live Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, most of the time. You can yell at us in the chat. Just don't text like a bot, or else I probably will ban you. Don't be offering us more views or something like that, And we even have a suggestion box that we touched for the first time in like a year. Last time. And it's not even
we did it last week.
But if you were there to listen to it, but otherwise you will know. So
yeah, and if you want to know what we're going to be listening to next, you can follow us at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD at Twitter. We'll let you know what album we're listening to and when we're listening to it.
Yeah, if Twitter still exists. Didn't it go down for like 3 hours the other day?
I don't know. I wasn't on it.
Not a lot of people are these days. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See you.